And we're live.
Are we?
Right, are we? I don't know.
I don't know. We shall see. Okay. Yes, we are officially live as I refresh the button.
Oh, yeah. That would help, refreshing the YouTube. It always takes like a second to catch up.
I love the intros for live streams because there's always this moment where you're looking kind of awkwardly. You're like, am I looking at the camera? Am I looking at the comments? And you're just waiting in dead silence.
Right? Well, it says there's 3 waiting, so it's probably us 2 and one other person. Hi, other person!
Welcome to our live stream for the Great Big Romance Read. Sponsored, well, not sponsored, but organized by the Ripped Bodice. I'm Angela, and this lovely human being is my best friend in the world, Nicole, whom I absolutely adore and love, and I think everyone should be following her on every single platform.
You're so sweet. You're my best friend. Yes, Angela and I are best friends, and this is the Romantics at Heart book club, and got Pride over here. I don't know about y'all, but I just love this cover. I love it. And mine's kind of like, is yours kind of like, it feels...
Is it raised? It's got kind
raised.
Of... Yeah.
Yeah. And then the artwork, I mean, I really like the artwork inside. And honestly, after seeing this picture, and then a lot of times her afro was referenced, and it just seems like it was supposed to be a lot bigger than that.
I was gonna say, I was like, should I post on Twitter that we're live?
Yes, you should.
I see. I think it's interesting because Owl Trade did the pink.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the pink and the purple. I almost want one of each.
Right. Well, mine's blue. Blue. I know, I liked the pink one, so when I stopped to get mine, I was like, oh, it's blue. But then you said yours was, it was the exclusive cover, so I was like, okay. Oh, you're...
I was like, I think I just lost his snow. LOL.
And I'm sorry if I start coughing throughout this whole live stream. My allergies and asthma are really getting to me just because it's really cold. But yeah, so everybody who is here, comment away. Have you read Pride? Did you read Pride? What did you think of it? Yeah, let us know about it in the comments.
I know, I kind of wanted to make sure I posted the link because all of a sudden it said one person was watching. I'm like, we only have one person? And I was like, I know each of us have a link open, so I didn't know.
Now it does say one watching now. So is it not counting us?
I don't know.
Or is it just counting me? It keeps fluctuating from 1 to 3. We don't know how many people are watching. If you're here, let us know. Tell us all about it in the comments. Yeah, it keeps fluctuating. That's so weird.
Anyway, I just posted a reminder on my Twitter.
Oh, okay. Let me go ahead and go and retweet that. You're the social media queen.
I just try and keep people up to date. That's like the goal. And you know, we've had a very busy time. I'm really excited for the Great Big Romance Read because I just think it's a really great idea to have all these people kind of coming together to talk about romance.
I love it too.
I think that's exciting.
And I was rereading the email from the Ripped Bodice, and they were saying this was the first time that they've done this kind of big kind of group across, you know, all social media platforms. And it kind of made it think like that they were going to do it again, like next year maybe.
Well, they made this, I mean, if you go check out their website, it's kind of beautiful. I kind of like the way it's designed. That is my dog, Max. It is, you will be joining us. Yeah, I like their design. It kind of looks very sleek to me. It has that kind of nice, I like how his tail is the only thing that pops up. They have Darcy or Fitzwilliam, and I have Fitzwilliam Waffles Darcy or something, their dog. I got Max.
Oh, that's so cute.
So anyway, would you like to just dive right on in and start discussing this book, and hopefully people will come and join us and hang out and talk some romance?
Yes, absolutely. Alrighty. So, for those of you who don't know, or if you haven't read Pride, just get a little bit, synopsis for you. It is a Pride and Prejudice retelling, and it follows Zuri and Darius, who are two main protagonists. And his family moves into her neighborhood, and that's kind of how they meet. And Angela and I were talking, and we were actually very, impressed that it was a very, very true adaptation, because I was telling her that I was reading it, and then I could see that, oh, this is where that happened in Pride and Prejudice. Oh, this is what she's referencing in Pride and Prejudice. So it was actually a very good adaptation. She got all the big, major scenes that were in there. And yeah, it was really, I could see, I couldn't help but, just reference back to Pride and Prejudice, the original. And it kind of makes me want to reread Pride and Prejudice, or definitely watch the movie in any case, because I love the 2005 Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley and Matthew McFadden. Oh my gosh. Life.
See, I like him as Mr. Darcy a little bit more than Colin Firth. I know that's a very controversial statement to make. I know that will divide Austinites or Janeites. Some people say Austinites, some say Janeites. I know that will divide the crowd, but he's my Darcy.
Absolutely. I feel the exact same way. And it's so funny because there are a couple of girls from my in real life book club who like, Colin Firth, Mr. Darcy, and I like Matthew McFadden. So it was really, we draw the line, but it's like they're both really good. I'm not bad mouthing any one of them, but it's I really prefer, if I was going to sit down and watch an adaptation, it would be that one, the 2005.
Well, it's also a little bit more streamlined because 2 hours versus the mini series. It's
right.
I mean, the book itself, it is a little bit more of a slow burn. There's a lot of, I love her language. That's part of the beauty of Pride and Prejudice. But the other one's kind of more of a truer adaptation. But if you just want to focus on the relationship, 2005 all the way. Just
all the way. Yeah, the miniseries was mostly focused on being accurate. Like they wanted to have literally every single thing in there, which is nice, because, I love the book. But yeah, like you said, if you just want to focus on the romance, the 2005 all the way.
I don't know if you've taken my advice as of yet, but I know you need to watch a certain web series entitled The Lizzie Bennet Diaries.
I do still need to watch that. Yeah, I do. I still need to.
I was going to say, you're going to get sucked into that, and that is going to be your weekend right there. And the husband's going to be like, where'd she go? And be saying, I'm spending time with Lizzie. That's it.
Where'd she go? I'll have to save it for one of those weekends where he's out of town on business. So I could just I could focus on, that instead of, ignoring my husband. Hello, Lady Gizmo. How are you? Finally, someone is commenting. Please comment, everybody. We want to know who's here.
Yes, if you've read the book, if you have any thoughts about it, please use the comment box and type away. We want to hear from you.
I love how she says best way to spend a Tuesday. It is. Honestly, that one week where we don't have anything, I start feeling like withdrawals. I need my Angela. I need my other romantics at heart. I need this club. Like I need air to breathe.
Oh my goodness, virtual hug through the computer across, space and time to you, different time zone, different location.
Yes, because I was just like, gosh, it's been way too long. I feel like it's been forever in between, like that last, the we're picking romance as opposed next to this one. When we talk about the book, that 1 week just drags on. It's like I need my romance club. I need it.
I'm pretty sure the dog is going to bark at some point because he's looking at me. I'm going, you be a good boy.
You be good.
I'm apologizing in advance if there's a little dog yipping at you at some point in time.
Yeah, for sure.
So, kind of going back to the adaptation, I really, I think part of what I liked about the book was the adaptation. I thought it was extremely clever how they did kind of that their kind of clashing of classes, because that's a big thing with the original. And then I made a little note about this. I really liked how the balls became like a block party. I really liked how she incorporated kind of the historical into the modern. I really, really thought it was cute how she did the block party as the ball. That kind of blew my mind a little bit. I liked that.
Yeah, Yeah, honestly, because when I was thinking about, before going into the adaptation, there were some scenes where I was just thinking like, well, how is this author going to translate that, I can't even talk, sorry, translate that to modern times. And the ball scene was one of them, and the fact that, he doesn't want to dance and, all that stuff. And so it was really cute how, I agree, Angela, how she did that. And I think she did a really good job. Because it says, Pride and Prejudice remix, and it really is. It focuses a lot on the modern times, and when you're reading the book, you will find some very modern terminology, and and so it's very much, she made it her own thing. Like, yes, she was retelling Pride and Prejudice, but she did make it her own, and that was really clever in the way that she did that as well.
I mean, I also kind of liked the Warren character as Wickham. He kind of had that WW Warren Wickham. But I kind of like how she modernized his potential scandal with Georgia versus Layla instead of Lydia. I mean, I kind of liked the way she did that. It's so funny because I think I told you this before. The first book I ever completed was a YA adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. And it was so funny because that was one of those scenes where I'm going, okay, how do you adapt the Wickham situation? And I kind of liked the way she did it.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And April's here. Hi, April. You did read it and you loved it. That's awesome. It makes me feel good when people love the books we're reading.
If you loved it, I want to know what you loved. I want to know what the favorite. When you say you loved, I'm like, what about it just pulled at your heartstrings? I mean, yeah. I have to admit, I kind of printed out some of the quotes because I don't understand. It's Darius. We're saying Darius, right?
Yeah, Darius.
Okay, so I love the part when he like kisses her forehead and he's very sweet with her. I love the scene when he's giving her a ride home and he takes her hand and he intertwines their fingers to hold her hand, and then the rest of their date, she said, "Oh, he held my hand." So I just really liked how sweet he was.
I did too. I really think that the author wrote his character very well. And he was very sweet. And Warren, whoo, when you're talking about the scandal, I just had that, I'm sure you saw me, I just had that look on my face and I was like, oh, I can't believe you did that. But yes, Warren, the scandal, and poor little, Georgia, is that how we're saying it? Georgia? and I just thought, that's just so crazy. Like, really, like, and what he does with Layla, and I completely understand Zuri's rage at the party where Layla's there and she's drinking and he's posting pictures on Instagram, and she's like, she is 13 years old. I was like, yeah, she's a little girl. I mean, one more year older for Warren, and that's kind of like statutory rape, and I was like, very, very bad.
I was actually, so this might be like one of those unpopular opinions, but when Zuri was like, oh, we can't let the parents find out that she got drunk, I'm going, you kind of should maybe let the parents find out your little 13-year-old sister is running around with a, almost 18-year-old guy. That's kind of problematic there, sweetie. She might deserve to get into some trouble for that one. I mean, she covered up the whole drinking, passing out, throwing up. I mean, because in my own head, I'm thinking, okay, maybe she has alcohol poisoning because she's only 13. She's had a few drinks. You don't really know, because she's like, oh, she'll sleep it off. I'm like, you should probably be watching her instead of going and hanging out with your boyfriend. That scene actually didn't really hit. That was a little bit of a miss for me.
Yeah, I totally agree, because I'm sorry, if that was my sister, I would be, yes, like I would be livid just like Zuri was. I would not be trying to protect her from parents because she needed to get in trouble. That is a big no-no. 13 years old, how did you even get out of the house? Like, that
was just a dangerous situation to be in.
Very dangerous.
I mean, that was one of those scenes where I'm going, okay, I'm glad the big sister's coming to the rescue, but the after effects, she should have really, like, once the sister was coming to, kind of laid into her and set down the rules, because the girl's still going, oh, I like Warren, and that was just.
I am glad that in this adaptation that they didn't end up being together, like Wickham and Lydia does in the original Pride and Prejudice. They end up married, and like, oh, well, you can't really do anything about it. But I'm glad that didn't, translate into this adaptation, because seriously, that would have put me off like so much, because that scene, like you said, I was worried about alcohol poisoning. This little girl she's a little girl. She's 13. Like, she should not. It's a very dangerous situation to be in. She can be very easily manipulated and peer pressured into doing things. And just because a boy says that he likes you, I was like, there's just so many very vicious, terrible things that were going in my head. And thank goodness Zuri did see the Instagram picture, because if she didn't, she would have left, not even gone back to the party, and then what would have happened?
I have to admit, I loved how Caroline was Carrie in this book. We've established that. And so I loved how she didn't end up being completely evil and irredeemable. I loved how she was actually saying, I got this, I ushered her to the bathroom, I ushered her, got her some water. And so I kind of liked that she was there for Layla. Situation. That was not the case with the original. The original Caroline would have just been like, see ya, another Bennet down the hall. She just would have walked over the body and kept on going.
Right, for sure. That's why I really like that little twist too, because at the beginning, there was even one thing that I tweeted where, when they meet at like the Poets Cafe, or like she's like doing her little poetry, and they see, and Darius and Carrie and Georgia, and Darius is like, it's a small world. And, Zuri was like, yeah, it's too small. And Carrie is saying, oh yeah, so small, I feel claustrophobic. And then I tweeted, I was just like, shut up, Carrie, no one likes you.
Well, I have to admit, I printed this out because this was the only time I kind of think I got annoyed with Darius. Where'd it go? When, I lost it. I printed this out because when they first got to the party, she went over to him, and so she was taking off his jacket. She gave him like a lingering hug, and I'm going, oh, this is interesting. This is his date. And the part that really kind of got me was that he didn't push her off or do anything to, signal, hey, I'm here on a date. And when he ever kind of let her do that, I was going, this is going to be bad for me right now. I was thinking, I didn't know what was going to happen.
I was thinking of you when I read that scene, because I was just like, you were supposed to be here with, your girlfriend, or who you're thinking is, or who you're hoping is going to be your girlfriend. And you're not even pushing Carrie away, like, because you saw like other scenes before it was their date, like when they were eating chili dogs and when they were at that one party, he kind of distanced himself from Carrie, like pushed her away, like gently, but he still did. And in this situation, this party, he didn't. And he was supposed to be there on a date with Zuri. I did not like that. I'm with you 100%. I did not like that.
Carrie gets up from the couch, goes over to Darius and hugs him as if he's her man. She talks and laughs too loud and fixes his jacket. And Darius does nothing to at least show me that he's not cool with it and that he's here with me. Boom. Not okay.
Not okay. You're supposed to be on a date, or you want it to be a date, and you are letting some girl hang on you. I don't like it.
I also I kind of wanted her point of view for a minute with Carrie, where she goes, that's her, to one of the girls on the couch when they first enter the party. I want to know what conversation that happened when they say, that's her. I need more info than just Carrie saying, that's her. And then when they have that stare off, I'm going, what's going through Carrie's head right now? I need more info on this.
Right. It's like, I need to know exact things that are being said right now.
Comments. Oh my goodness.
Yay! I want to say hi to Libri. Hi, how are you? And then Maras is here. Hi. Did you two read the book? April did, and she said she really loved it. And April is saying that she really liked how you can identify which characters in Pride represent which ones in Pride and Prejudice, but it has a modern twist. Yes, we were talking about that kind of in the beginning, a little bit before you showed up, April, how this was a very good adaptation of Pride and Prejudice, how when you're reading it, you can definitely see, okay, this is the scene in Pride and Prejudice that she's referencing. This is the scene. So yeah, we really like that too. It's a very true adaptation. And Marissa is saying, I have to work, but I'll listen. Thank you for joining us, though. I really appreciate it. Aww. And April is saying how she loved how sassy Zuri was and stood her ground like Lizzie in Pride and Prejudice, very much so. And she loved Zuri's poetry. Yes, I did too. I really liked some of the poems that she wrote in there. And I'm just like, oh, that's really beautiful. And then when she was talking about how instead of an essay, she was going to submit her poetry instead of the essay. And I was like, that might work. I mean, you did really well with the poetry. Some of them were really beautiful. And when Zuri first meets Carrie, when she goes to the Darcy house, she thought, I want to tell her that nobody's checking her bougie man, LOL. Yeah, she's very, one thing about Zuri is she wants to make sure that everybody knows that she's not bothered by anything. She wants to be in control of everything, and she wants to put there's a lot of references to the walls that she has up, which is very true. And there's a lot of referencing to saying that she wants to be in control, that she wants to handle all the situations. And she's like, I'll let the man know when I'm done or when he can leave. And I'm just like, what? But yeah, she's very sassy, spicy, very like stands her ground. And especially that one scene where she confronts Warren about, the pictures of Georgia. And she's saying, is it true what you did? And he's like, oh, is it like that now? And he like gets in her face, like stands up and like towers over her. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. And then she does not back down. She's like, yeah, this is how it is. And you're not going to do that to me. You need to get away from me. And I'm like, yes. Slow clap.
I also thought this was one of my favorite parts because I kind of liked how this played out. When Darius said, he says he wasted too much time and that he should have kissed her sooner. And she goes, no, you shouldn't have. I would have hated you even more. And she goes on to say how, yes, they had a messy beginning, but that's their beginning and you shouldn't change that. I kind of liked how she wasn't wishing things had gone differently. I kind of like that she accepted that and they were moving forward because this is our story, this is our history. And it wasn't about regret. It wasn't about trying to change things or do someone differently. But I love the part when emotions are feelings and feelings change. And then when she says, I don't hate you anymore, like, yes, we've evolved, we've changed. I thought that was a very mature attitude and just a very intellectual stance for, this high schooler who just, in the span of a month changed her entire opinion. I kind of got to give her credit for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And she even she even says that at one point. She said that she, like, yes, we had a messy past, but she wouldn't change it. She doesn't have any regrets because she definitely matured as, a person and definitely has a different way of thinking now. And like you said, to have someone who is in high school having these, emotional developments and character developments I have to give her props too. That's very, very mature of her.
Well, that was very Elizabeth Bennet to me in a way. I mean, again, I thought that was, when you say you like her and, she stood her ground, that was kind of standing her ground saying, no, I made the decisions I thought was right in the moment. She's not backing down saying she wished she changed things. I mean, again, you can't change the past. So that's, you're wasting time if you wish that. But I kind of liked how she kind of accepted that because to me, that's the interpretation of standing your ground in a way too.
Yeah, but she's accepting that she is growing and she's not, trying to fight it. She was just like, I did have this stance, but now I see your opinion and now I see, things differently. And that's just the part of how everybody grows and she's accepting that. And I really like that too. And when she saw Darius looking at her sister weird dancing with him at the block party, she ran right over and called him out. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was the first like block party, and we were talking about how this kind of correlates with the ball scene where Darcy said he wouldn't dance with anybody and just because there was no one really pretty enough at the ball to dance with. And then so this is a reference to that from Pride and Prejudice, and he kind of did have that kind of weird, what is this girl doing look on his face. And, Zuri, just like Lizzie, is very protective of her sisters. And so, yeah, she immediately went over there and said, who are you looking at? Like, why are you looking at her like that? So, and then, so also another thing that I wanted to reference when they go to the cocktail party over at the Darcy house and, I think it was Layla, she gets like some actual red wine and she starts just like running her mouth. And I was like, if you could die from secondhand embarrassment, I was like this, like reading the book. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like I was seriously so embarrassed for Zuri. I'm like, oh no, how did she get a hold of red wine? Like, who did this?
I mean, again, that's like that's a very clever adaptation component, though, because at the ball, the family is supposed to be embarrassing to some degree, and acting, out of character and inappropriate to some degree. And I think she captured that emotion. I mean, that's the equivalent of Mary sitting down at the piano, awkwardly playing when no one wants you to. I thought, she.
Yes. I'm just remembering the movie when like she's playing really badly and then her dad comes up and he's like, okay, that's enough. And she's like, take it. And like she starts crying. I was like, oh. But yeah, that whole scene where little bits of everybody, like in Pride and Prejudice, the mom is really embarrassing, and well, so are the little sisters and stuff. And yeah, she did a very good job translating that into modern and fitting the situation. So I was cringing the entire time reading that scene. I'm like, oh no, oh no.
I thought it was cute though how Darcy is. I keep wanting to call him Darcy because I'm so Darcy. Darius there. I like how him and Ainsley had bow ties and suspenders on. I just thought that was such a cute little touch.
Yes. Yeah. And Ainsley and Janae, their adaptation was really, really clever as well, and very well done. I mean, even though they're not the focus, you still get the progression of their relationship, which she kept very true in this one, in the adaptation as well. April saying, at the party when the girl's mom is going on and on about the food they eat, and no skinny minis in my house, was like Mrs. Bennet getting tipsy and talking too much at the Bingley party in Pride and Prejudice. Yeah, for sure. No skinny minis in my house. I love that. I mean, I really liked her mom. She was just just the fact, like, she's always, making sure everyone's fed and making sure, like, she's in the kitchen cooking, and she just wants to make sure that, everyone is good and eating. And that's just the kind of mom like that I had. She was like, did you eat? Did you eat? Like, my mom, that's what everybody who came into my house, she wanted to make sure you ate something. Like, did you eat? Are you hungry? I'll make you something. So it was really cute how, like, she brought food, to the cocktail party, and she's like, you should really try this. Did you eat? No skinny minis in my house. It was really cute. But yeah, Mrs. Bennet getting tipsy in Pride and Prejudice. Oh yeah, that's funny.
I was gonna say, what did you think of, the Bingley and Jane becoming Janae and Ainsley? Did you like you like their storyline, right?
I do. Even though, like I said, even though they're not like the main focus, it's not really their story, but you still see their progression, like you did with Jane in Bingsley in Pride and Prejudice. So, and I felt so bad for Janae, because I don't know, I kind of felt like Zuri was a little bit out of line in her saying that she shouldn't be with Ainsley, and the fact that there was one line, I forget what the exact line was, but Zuri was saying to Janae that it's like, oh, they're right, you have changed because you went off to college and now you're thinking differently. So it's kind of like she almost resented Janae in that fact, because she did everything that she could to try and pull her sister away from Ainsley. And I didn't like that all that much, because that's not how Lizzie was in Pride and Prejudice. Like, even though, they did talk about everything with how Bingley and Darcy were kind of, like the uptight, but she never forcibly, talked bad about them and, said and tried to pull her away and out of situations. Like you were saying, like she went over to play video games with Ainsley, yeah, and she like forcibly like pulled her out of there.
Yeah, I DM'd. I was DMing her and I was going, why is she taking her away? I was looking down because there's a line when she's all excited and she's saying to Zuri, he's taking me out this weekend, ! And internally she goes, no, he's not. She's like, no, he's not. I'm going, Wow.
It's very strong.
I mean, that is a reaction. I mean, because again, I think you hit the nail on the head. Lizzie, I mean, she might have some reservations about Bingley. I mean, but at the same time, she never acts or kind of interferes in the relationship. She wants her sister to be happy. So she encourages her as much as possible. She helps her get ready for the balls. You know, she's there. She asks him about, you know, she asks her about her relationship with him. Meanwhile, this one's going, nope, you're not going out with him.
And I think it has something to do with not just the way Darius and Ainsley are, and she's kind of prejudiced towards them about, you know, them moving in and them changing the neighborhood. And, you know, it's more than that. It's like she kind of feels that Ainsley is stealing her sister from her, because there was one line where she said, you know, Janae has been away at college, and Zuri does want time to spend with her. And she was saying that Ainsley was taking her sister away from her, and saying that, well, you know, I'm not going to be, if you're hanging out with Ainsley, I can't hang out with you, and he's taking you from me. And so I thought it was a little bit, that was a little bit immature on her part. You know, like, yes, Janae's coming back from college, and yes, you did miss her, but, you know, she is, you know, developing in this new relationship, and it's kind of mean-spirited and mean-hearted for her to actively pull her away from that just because she wants to spend time with Janae.
I mean, I kind of wanted to figure out why she felt compelled to go over there and interrupt her hangout with him when they're playing video games. Because there wasn't a real, oh, mom needs you at home, or, oh, I have this problem, I need you to come help me with it. There was none of that. It was just, I want my sister back. So right. I think that's what didn't sit well with me, was that there was no real immediate emergency or immediate cause for her to go in and interrupt and pull her away like it's this, you know, be all end all. I mean, she's having fun. She really likes him. Mm-hmm. I mean, that didn't quite sit too well.
Yeah, and Ainsley did absolutely zero things to make Zuri think that he was a bad person. Like, nothing at all. He was, when they first met, he was on his best behavior. He was being a gentleman. He was very nice. And the only fact that Zuri did not want Janae to be with Ainsley is because, oh, they're, you know, like the bougie people coming into the neighborhood and messing it all up. And so it's like, that's where like the prejudice comes in, you know, like very, you know, that's how it kind of related from, like you said, like the kind of the classism that was in Pride and Prejudice, referring to like the more modern, you know, era. So that's very, you know, it was very true. What were you saying?
Oh, no, she dislikes them from the get-go before they even step out, because they had the bets going. They were trying to figure out, oh, are they rappers? Are they ballers? Are they white? Are they black? Like, they were trying to figure out before they even stepped out of the car. They already had preconceived notions of who they were expecting based on the renovations that were done to the home. And so they already kind of had this preconceived idea of who was going to step out of that car. So before they even entered, you know, the story, really, she already had an opinion of them.
She already had an opinion, and she didn't like him at all.
So mad. I mean, because they renovated. I felt bad, because for me, in my little head, I'm thinking, he's the son. He didn't have any. I mean, the parents are the ones who renovated, moved them, made the decisions. They're the ones who have the income. You know, it's their revenue stream. They can do what they will. They're just the kids. So
exactly.
I felt badly for him.
Oh, I did too. Yeah, it was just like, do you really think like they had any say in the renovations of their house? Like, it was very, you know, that's why I felt like at some points, yes, Zuri can be very headstrong and she stands up for herself, but at certain points she was downright rude. And I'm like, ooh, Zuri. It was kind of like, I had to, like, you would read some scenes and stuff that she was saying and her actions. I kind of had to put the book down and be like, ooh, Zuri, was that the best course of action for this? No. But yeah, it was that's just how it was translated from, you know, the original Pride and Prejudice to this modern adaptation. And it was done very well.
I almost wanted there to be a kind of a dual point of view, because I think Darius was so interesting and he really pulled at my heartstrings. Again, I really liked how sweet he was with his actions and mannerisms. But when he had that kind of, it wasn't a monologue, but he had that kind of moment where he says to her, my neighbors in the city, they saw me grow up, and then all of a sudden they were uncomfortable once I was older. My parents moved me here, so now I don't belong anywhere. He's going, I don't belong where I was. I don't belong where I am now. And my heart was just breaking for this guy. I'm going, I want chapters from your point of view. I want to know more about you, because we just see it from her point of view. This is entirely her perspective. We're in her head, the whole story. I wanted him to have his own chapters, or I wanted rotating narrators almost, because when he ever said that, I'm going, I need an entire chapter just from your point of view. I need it. I just need it.
Yeah, I would have very much liked more backstory from Darius, and I would have really liked definitely his point of view. I would have loved that. That kind of probably would have been the icing on the cake for this book for me. Just because, yeah, we only get her side of the story. And I felt like we did get to know Darius, but it was kind of like his character could have been fleshed out a little bit more. And I would love to know more about him and his kind of like his roots and where he came from and his feelings and what he thought about moving and, everything. I would have loved that.
I mean, I also wanted kind of them to flesh out the scene when, that's my dog. I was going, what is that noise? So that is my dog digging on the carpet. There was a scene when he's at the party and Zuri is very uncomfortable because she feels as if he's leaving her alone. And she says, and I'm ignored like some side chick he brought with him to show off to his friends. But he's dancing, he's interacting. And so aside, I don't know what he's doing. He's trying to like dig a hole in the carpet over there. But aside from her kind of like calling him on it, I kind of wanted more from that scene. I wanted to know what his school life was like, if he really did have to put on a show. Did he feel as if if he had to act that way, was that really him? Because they are just getting to know each other. I kind of wanted more from that scene. I wanted his perspective. I wanted to know more about the logic behind why he was acting that way. Because again, it's about her and how it's impacting her. It's not so much about his experience, it's about his experience in, impacting her, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I totally agree, because reading that scene, I didn't understand why she got mad at the thing she got mad at. I would have totally understood the fact that, she was mad that he was letting Carrie hang all over him. I didn't understand that she chose to walk out and get mad at him when he started dancing with her. Like, he actually came over and started, that's when he had his attention focused on her and he was dancing with her. And I would have been like, okay, now, this is a date now. This is it. And then she gets mad and leaves. I'm like, wait, what? It's starting to go right. Where are you going? So I totally understood the fact that, she was getting mad that he was, paying attention to Carrie and all of his other friends and not her when this was supposed to be a date. But when he does the 180 and starts focusing on her and dancing with her finally, when, he doesn't really like to dance, he's said that. And so he's making an effort to dance with her. She gets mad and just walks out and saying like, oh, you're putting on a show. I'm not comfortable in there. I'm like, what do you, I literally said out loud, what are you talking about? like, how is he putting on a show? He's just, dancing. I don't really think he was acting any differently than he was throughout the entire previous part of the book. So I was really confused in that, that whole scene where she gets mad that he's saying like he's putting on a show. Hi, Max, hi.
I told you he's gonna bark. I apologize in advance because of this moment.
He was saying, hi, Aunt Nicole. I know that voice. I know who you're talking to.
Yeah, you just see he responds as soon as you say that.
I know. Hi, Max. But yeah, so that whole scene, I was just very confused. I'm like, why are you angry? Like, I would have been angry for another thing. Like, why are you angry that he's actually paying attention to you now and dancing? It's like, I don't understand. Max agrees. He knows the scene I'm talking about.
Like, she's yep, he's on your side. He agrees with you wholeheartedly.
I was like, so especially when she was like, oh, you're putting on a show, you're pretending to be someone else. I'm like, explain how is he doing that? I don't understand.
I want his point of view. That's more from him. I wanted to understand how that occurred. Yes. I found one of the quotes that I think we kind of touched on before about how she likes control, and yeah, you yawning over there. Um, he's yawning at me as I found it. But she's also kind of the more aggressive one in the relationship because
For
he
sure.
leaned in, but she finished the kiss. She leaned in to actually finish the kiss. And so this is another one of those moments where, she's being more assertive and outgoing. So there's a personality clash there as well to me in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the kiss thing was cute, but she really does like to be in control. She likes to know what's going on, and when things aren't going according to plan, like the renovations, and when she can't control things, that's a problem. And so when he acts differently than how she expects or anticipates, yes, the dog, he's like, I'm invested in this conversation. When things go differently, that's hard for her, and I actually kind of in a way like that because I think that's more realistic. And I think that speaks to the young adult nature a little bit more. It's one of those things where she's still learning. And I mean, I think I don't know what he is doing. He's going to be a little troublemaker this live stream. But I mean, that was just a personality thing. I just kind of wanted to highlight as the dog starts to dig another hole in the carpet for no apparent reason.
Yeah, I definitely, I like the control aspect. There are a couple of scenes in there where she is actually thinking that, like, oh, this is my turf. And she actually made like the basketball analogy where she was saying like the boys bring the balls to the court, but I'm going to steal this from you and, keep it in my court. You might have had the upper hand in this situation, but when you see me again, I'm going to steal the ball and then it's going to be in my court. And then you're going to be exactly right where I want you. So it's a very, definite personality clash because Darius isn't like that at all.
I mean, I have to give, the author here credit because we get a very strong sense of who she is as a character. I mean, we know she wants to go to Howard. We know she loves her family. We know what she likes, what she dislikes. We know her. We have a clear view of inside her head. So, I mean, that's kind of, that's well executed. I mean, because you just know, there's no question. There's no ambiguity. You know what she's feeling.
Exactly. Like she's very, very honest and everything she feels is written plainly on her face. And if you can't decipher what's on her face, she's going to tell you about it. It's like no, not holding back at all. And it just reminds me of the scene where, Darius invites her over to his grandmother's house and they're going to have dinner. And grandma was very rude and very, judgmental herself. And she doesn't stand for it. She stands her ground. And, even when her grandma was like, you don't talk to me like that in my house. And she's like, you don't talk to me like that to my face. and then I really loved that Darius, kind of like backed her up, was saying like, grandma, like stop talking, and he actually, when she left, he rushed after her and like left his grandmother. And, he actually thanked her. He said, like, thank you for calling my grandma out on her BS. I'm like, wow, this is going very differently than I thought it would.
I mean, I have to admit that scene really struck me because it did not take her long at all to kind of not snap back, but she didn't wait or hesitate or anything. There was a comment and then she just responded. Mm-hmm. And I'm a very quiet person. And so I'm going, whoa, to me, I was going, wow. There was no hesitation. There was no internal monologue of thinking what she should say, how she should respond. She wasn't worried about anything. She just defended herself, went right to it. And so I'm going, this is a very interesting exchange right about now.
Yeah, for sure. There was actually this little thought that went through her head because she knew what she was saying was rude, but she justified it because she said that I don't have a problem with what I'm saying because she obviously doesn't have a problem disrespecting me. So like she actually like had that thought. So she knew what she was doing. Like she knew she was being very disrespectful and rude to someone that she just met. Someone like she's in this other person's house, but she said, like she has no problem disrespecting me. So I don't have a problem disrespecting her, even though there's no really that thing like kind of, oh, respect your elders kind of thing, that going on that. But, so she definitely, very much stood her ground there and let her know that she was not happy with what grandma was saying in the assumptions that she was making about Zuri. But I like that Darius took her side.
I apologize. The dog apparently found a bone in the couch. So that was, in case you heard any growling, that's what was going on there.
He's like, I want this bone.
No, he had the bone here, so I was trying to figure out what was going on. I mean, I think that he also, I mean, you kind of got to give him a little bit of credit, or kind of think about it from his perspective, because that is his grandmother. That is, you know, he has to go back there for Christmas dinner and holidays, you know, all the other holidays. And he, you know, this is a woman in his life who he's not going to be able to just walk away from entirely. So, I mean, the fact that he did follow her and he did kind of put her first in that way, that's saying something.
Exactly. And that's what I like. It was like, yes, you know, you have your family, but when you're in a relationship like that, you know, especially with, I know they're not married, but if you want to be in a committed relationship with someone and you want to, you know, you're definitely, you know, with that person, like, yes, that's your family, but you're also with this person. So I think he handled it very well. You know, he didn't get up and yell. He didn't, you know, do anything, you know, rash like that. He just said, grandma, you know, he just kept saying her name, you know, like, please stop. Like, he's pleading with her, please stop, don't do this. But then he did, like, he, you know, followed Zuri out. And even though, like, yes, he was her ride back to Brooklyn, but I really, you know, I liked their car ride. I wish, you know, and it was very rudely, you know, very change of direction when, you know, he brought up Warren, and the fact that, you know, or not Warren, but the fact that he brought up that he was the one that told Ainsley to not be with Janae. And I was like, oh, you just ruined a good scene here. Like, nope, don't say that.
I think that was the turning point for them. I liked how was kind of insistent, and he really wanted to give her the ride home, and he was very considerate. And then, you know, you have the grandmother's house scene, but then he's still driving and talking to her, and he buys her food. She was saying, oh, I wanted to get the biggest meal I could for $14, and, you know, he offers to buy her dinner. I really, again, I know he's not beta, but he has kind of a little bit of he has one of those common decency guys. He has a little bit of beta quality to him. Like, he's very sweet. And so I appreciated that about him, as the dog was like, yes, I agree.
He is a beta hero. Yes.
He is. I mean, he's not total. I mean, he's not an alpha by any stretch of the imagination.
He was beating up on Warren. I was like, there's the alpha. There he is.
I mean, it took him a bit. He didn't immediately jump in, you know. The alpha would have jumped in way beforehand and not even have let that conversation been like, you are my woman. Like, that would have been the alpha. So I don't really consider him an alpha hero. But kind of going back, I mean, I live in DC, you know, that's where I live. And so when I think she captured the setting very well, as, you know, in her writing, because as soon as she said Chevy Chase, I'm going, that is a nice, expensive area. I like, immediately, as a reader who knows that location, I'm going, oh, this is going to be interesting. Because you go to that area, it is just, I mean, she said, like, they had mini mansions, like, they have legit mansions, and everything is very well maintained, and everything has, like, an exquisite, you know, kind of appearance to it. I mean, it is a very nice neighborhood. And so I thought, as an author, she clearly did her research about the locations. I mean, if grandma's going to live in a wealthy area, that is where grandma's living in DC, or at least Maryland, you know, the DC border. I mean, she did her research on that part.
That's so interesting. And I was thinking of you when they were saying they were going to DC, and I was like, Angela probably knows all about this.
Well, so I actually kind of wanted more. I wanted an epilogue almost at this. So jumping ahead a little bit, because Howard is kind of, I mean, it's in DC, and so is Georgetown, where I went. Haha. On water. So I was happy when he said Georgetown. I mean, so I kind of wanted to see them in college, you know, making that relationship work, because Howard is a little bit farther out. So, I mean, would they be taking, you know, the metro? What would they be doing? I kind of want more information on that.
Right, exactly. I wanted an epilogue too. I actually thought there was going to be an epilogue of just their, you know, whether it was, you know, when they were finally in college, or, you know, a couple years later. I wanted that too. It kind of puts the bow on a romance book, you know, that epilogue where they're established and they're happily ever after.
But she set it up too, because Howard and Georgetown, she set it up. I just wanted her to, finish that train of thought.
I know. Gosh, we have one brain because I was seriously thinking that exact same thing. I turned the page on the last book. I'm like, acknowledgments. There's supposed to be an epilogue here.
Howard, did he choose to go to Howard? Did she get into Georgetown miraculously? I mean, and she was like, "Oh, I have decent scores, whatever." Like, I wanted more information.
Right, exactly. April is saying, I thought it was cute when he said, I like you. And she was trying to seem not too eager. So she was all, yeah. He was like, oh, like, I hear you, Zizi. Yeah, they use that terminology a lot. Like, I hear you. I see you. I got you, that kind of thing. And I love how she kind of broke down that, terminology too. Instead of saying, I got your back, he was saying, I got you. And that means something completely different. Like saying like, you will, like, I trust you. So if I fall, I know you're back there behind me to catch me. And so the way she kind of differentiated seemingly very similar terminologies, I really like that. The fact that, Darius was like, I got you, and yeah, I just, a lot of when they turned cute to each other and they're actually getting into the relationship, they had some pretty cute, moments and, dialogue and banter back and forth. I really liked their little cute scenes. It just makes my heart warm.
I found one. Darius asks her what's wrong. He slides away from me a little bit and turns his body towards me as if I'm about to give him the most interesting answer ever. I love how his whole, all of his attention's on her, and then his eyes are smiling when he looks up at her. Oh, those little moments. He's so sweet. I really liked him.
Yeah, I did too. Even when like they stopped to get dinner on the way back home, they were standing waiting for their food, and he kind of gets closer to her and she's like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, I just thought you were cold. I could keep you warm. I was like, oh my gosh. So cute.
One of my favorite lines was, Darius hugs me so tight, picking me up off my feet. Again, you get the visual. And it feels as if he's inhaling me and I'm exhaling him. My heart stirring.
My shipper heart. Yes, very cute. Very cute.
And then he tries to smooth out her hair. She's going, it doesn't move.
Yeah. Yes, I love that. It just reminds me of me and my husband. My hair is naturally curly. You can't see right now because I tame it into a bun. But when he's hugging me, or when we're doing something, we're really close, and he tries to like move my hair out of the way, like when miraculously it's down every once in a while. It's just, he always says like, it's so poofy, and I was like, it's not moving. He tries to like move it out of the way. I'm like, it's not moving.
Charlotte, oh, you're not late. You are right on time to join the romance reading fun. Oh my gosh. Hi, welcome. And then you agree it seemed like the perfect setup for an epilogue. Yes.
Yes. Hi, Charlotte. How are you? You said you read it and you liked it. Should we do star ratings? If you read it and you loved it, or if you read it, do your star ratings in the comments. I want to know. What are you going to rate this on Goodreads?
I want an epilogue. I'm still back on that. I want maybe a sequel or something. I want to know if he went to Georgetown. I want to know if she went to Howard. Did they give her, a scholarship for her amazing essay? I mean, I want more information.
Honestly, reading that little part of her essay, I mean, I just, I loved her poetry. So when I was reading her essay, I was like, oh, are we going to get her essay? And then they said it was like 5,000 words. And I'm just like, I would still read it. Have her 5,000 word essay in this book.
I wanted more information. Because the other thing I thought, this is me being overly analytical. So it was so cute when he writes their initials. I mean, he did that again. Heartstrings, love him. But she made a comment about, or until they destroy it, and I'm going, whoa, wait a second. Is this supposed to be symbolic of your relationship here, sweetie? What do you mean until they destroy it? Back up. We want this to be permanent forever. Hold up. Is this an HFN? Like, I know we have a happy for now, but happily ever after. I'm going, is this supposed to mean something?
Right? You're totally like reading into it. But like, I thought it was really cute too. And when he, it was saying like when he got down on one knee to, you don't know he's going to write in the dirt. And I'm just like, what is he doing? Oh my gosh.
I mean, I didn't think proposal because again, this is all happening over the course of one summer, so they've only been
I
together.
didn't think proposal either, but when he got down on one knee, I was like, what is happening? Too soon. Too soon.
It's true.
April's like, I agree. At the end, you just wonder what's going to happen, which in a way is fine because they're young and so much changes, but it didn't make my heart swoon like the end of Pride and Prejudice. For sure. True statement right there.
I was going to say, you asked for star ratings, and you have me looking at Goodreads now. So the Goodreads has an average of 3.77. So it does, I mean, pretty good reviews for the most part, although I did see a few did not finish. There were a few people who had issues with the book. Then there were the people who loved it, 5 stars. So this is getting, kind of a diverse reaction amongst, readers. So
Absolutely. I'm so glad you looked that up. And honestly, there's only 3,082 ratings, which I figured there would be a lot higher than that because I did see this book a little bit on BookTube when it first came out, but I guess it's just, the hype wasn't as high as some other things that we have seen on BookTube. But so I was just really surprised how it doesn't have that many ratings. But mostly it's heavy. It's very heavy in the 4-star category. Because you see you can't see my phone because of the glare, but when it has the community reviews and it does the star ratings, the 4-star is very, very large. There are some 5-star in there and everything, but I like looking at that, like the analytics and stuff of Goodreads. Charlotte, I think I gave it 3.5 or so, rounded up to 4 on Goodreads.
I think Charlotte and I have the same mind because I was thinking like 3.5, 3.75. I'm going, I'll round up though. That's how I am. So I think we're the same mindset.
If I have to give half star points, I always round up. I very rarely round down.
I'll give it a solid 4. How about that? I say solid 4 because I think the adaptation of Pride and Prejudice was quite clever. And my dog is going behind things now trying to bury a bone. So there's he's being strange. So I have to get up. But I think the way she adapted was really clever. So I think that alone warrants a good rating.
Yeah, that alone warrants 3 stars. And then you have, Darius and his very cute, swoon-worthy, moments, and that's another star right there. I mean, Darius was probably my favorite character in this. I really, really, really liked him and his little. I wanted more. I wanted more from him.
Again, I kind of want a dual perspective. I kind of want a dual because. Okay, so again, I know this is a YA, but it's a very, very quick read. I read this super, super quickly. I would have been very happy if this could have been double the size, having alternating, dual, point of views, and I still would have been happy. Maybe there's going to be another book from his perspective. You know how Twilight was Bella, and then they do Edward's. Like, I don't know. I want his perspective.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm actually pretty curious about what's the page count on this thing? 289. So yeah, it's it's kind of a shorter, almost like novella size, and yeah, she definitely could have fleshed out the story a little bit, made it like getting up to like the 400, range. But yeah, same with you. I mean, I started it yesterday, but I only got to like page 90, and then I finished the rest of this today while I was at work. Mostly in the afternoon because the morning was crazy. So I definitely very quick read. I got through it. Yeah, fairly quickly.
I mean, it's very quick pace. I mean, there's no lingering. I mean, I don't really think of it as a slow burn. I mean, it could be enemies to lovers if you want to use that, although I don't think the enemy really works. I mean, it's more about her being, having her preconceived notions. But I mean, if she did, this could have been double the size with his perspective, and I still would have read it, and I still would have enjoyed it. I mean, it's fine as it is. I'm not saying, it needed it, but I'm just saying it would have been, I also would have been happy if that had been the situation as well. I think that would have been a nice touch. I mean, but again, maybe if she wrote that instead of doing the young adult, maybe if she did a new adult or just a full-on romance adaptation, making them, college or work or something, it could be a 500-page book and have his perspective or something, or have it be slower and, slow the pace down a little bit. Cause this is it's quick.
Oh yeah. I felt like we were moving through this book. Charlotte says, I really enjoyed the adaptation element. I have a friend in my book club who hasn't read Pride and Prejudice, and I couldn't tell if I would enjoy it as much if I hadn't read the original. I was thinking that too, Charlotte. I was really thinking that, one of the things that I really enjoyed about this book is that I could tell the references, like, oh, this is what she's getting at. This was the ball scene in Pride and Prejudice, or this was this scene in Pride and Prejudice. And it really made me giddy because I love Pride and Prejudice. So that's one of the things that I enjoyed about it so much. And so if I hadn't read the original and loved the original so much, would I um would I receive this book as well as I did? That's very interesting.
There was, again, I'm giving this 4 stars. There was one Goodreads review. I didn't interpret it this way, but someone said they thought it was, show versus tell, and there was a lot of telling. I mean, I liked following the Pride and Prejudice adaptation of it. But if you're just getting told a story and you don't have that kind of connection to draw back from and think of, oh, this is what's going on, I can kind of see that playing out that way. I can kind of see why somebody like, oh, you're telling me a story, but if you don't know the original story, I mean, or you have that focal point, I can see where they might lose a little bit of steam with that. Although hopefully they won't.
I agree. I don't know if this was mentioned, but apparently the inspiration for this book was gentrification, and the Pride and Prejudice retelling came into play afterwards. Well, she did it very well because that was a big thing. It's this new family was coming into a neighborhood that everyone thought that was just fine. And they came in and started renovating this house that they didn't think needed to be fixed, but really it was just a rundown place that no one lived in. So I'm not sure why they thought that. But, and then if Pride and Prejudice was like a secondary thing to it, she did it very well. I mean, it really helped.
You totally just reminded me of Clueless, because the director for Clueless, the writer, the creator, she had this concept of 90s Beverly Hills, and so she knew the character, like she had this kind of idea for the setting. She knew the tone, but she didn't have a story, so she chose Clueless to put her idea into as an adaptation. So you just reminded me of that, like taking Austen as your ground, to implement your idea. You just totally reminded me of that, of how she lends herself to every situation. I mean, you have everyone trying to get the different Austen adaptations for different elements, and that works really well with this. I mean, that's interesting. You just totally reminded me of that. That's the beauty of Jane Austen.
It's very versatile. And she says also that pink version. Yeah, seriously. I was very disappointed when I went to Barnes & Noble, got the regular blue version.
So Owl Crate, it also came with this little bookmark that I kind of love, and it has the pink lettering. So you run this block, this hood, my heart. I thought it was cute. I'm keeping
I love that.
And then I keep everything. So when Owl Crate sends stuff, I keep everything there. So I also have the note from the author. So I can share this on Instagram or something in my live story. This way you guys can read it. I mean, I can hold it. It's not gonna hold too well there, so I can share that later. But I always try and keep everything with that. But I do like the inside version. I think the pink is pretty.
It is. The pink is very pretty. Jealousy intensifies over here.
I was gonna say, this is the beauty of Owl Crate. I mean, I would, I think I kind of keep that subscription going just because they have their unique items, because you literally can't get them anywhere else.
Yeah.
They really do.
When they can, they do the original, or they do like their exclusive covers and all that stuff when they can do it. And I think that's really cool.
I mean, I have to give them credit because I think it was 8 boxes in a row. They had their own original book covers. And so I got to give them kind of double credit because I can't remember the book off the top of my head. But there were 2 books in the box. So there was this one and another one, and they both had original covers. And I'm going, Owl Crate is killing it.
Yes, they are.
Oh, and I will tell you I'll write it for you. I am writer a Hart every single place on. That is me.
And April's saying, I agree. I think I liked it more because I read Pride and Prejudice. For sure. I can see how that's going.
I was going to say, I'm trying to figure out if there's something else. Okay, so the one thing, so we got to talk about the ending where they do lose their home. They have
no.
And so I was I was thinking about the original Pride and Prejudice because, again, he has all daughters. The land is eventually going to be lost. You just know that's the case. Although in my little head, I'm always hoping, oh, well, both the first daughters married very rich. Maybe they can maintain the house. That's held on to in my own little head, even though there's no real explanation. We don't really know what happens to the Bennet land, but I thought it was so sad that they, they're first to move, and her, her neighborhood was such a big part of her, and she's so passionate about it. I was so sad for her. I just, my heart went out to her.
You made me just realize that we don't really find out what happens to the Bennet land. And now I need to know.
I have like multiple stories in my head where I either think, okay, maybe Darcy and Bingley, take care of it and make sure the land stays for them because they love their, their wives so much. Maybe, Darcy has Pemberley, which is extravagant. So maybe they kept it there. But I mean, the land is supposed to go to Mr. Collins. But I kind of always thought in the back of my head, oh, maybe it didn't. Maybe it stayed. But yeah, in this one, it did go to the Mr. Collins character, and it did go away, and I was very sad about that.
Yeah, it did, because especially with Zuri, she's very protective of not only her family but her neighborhood. That's what kind of causes her, prejudice against this new family that's coming in and effectively changing, the neighborhood. And she was scared that they were going to kick her out. And, that's essentially, I'm not saying that the Darcy family kicked her out, but I'm like, that was her fear. Like, they're going to come in and change the neighborhood, and then they're going to kick us out. And so it was very sad. She was very sad when that happened. And, she was crying, and Darius was there for her, and he was being very sweet. And that was very sad.
I was going to say, I kind of liked the part where she did say, oh, where'd it go? This is one of the quotes I grabbed, because he again, he's very sweet. He has that, very kind disposition where he wipes the tears away with his thumbs and kisses her. And then the very last thing I do in this building is kiss a boy. I'm going, oh, the boy who moved in across the street and changed everything.
That's so sweet.
Oh, I loved it. My heart.
My heart. My shipper heart.
I know, right? You're going, can I just keep drawing hearts around you?
Yeah. So is there anything else that anybody wanted to talk about? Because I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
I was taking the picture this way I didn't forget and get distracted by the dog.
Yes.
Because I know once I get distracted by the dog, all bets are off. So I just wanted to make sure, so this is going on my Instagram live, so you can read the little note. I just want to make sure I didn't forget.
And I'll add it to my story as well.
I will. I don't know. I mean, I just really, there was a lot to this. Oh, there is one scene I really loved. So when they go out,
you just got so excited there. You were so cute.
I kind of love this part when my heart can't take it. So they're on their date, and so she stops and looks in the window and sees how they look together. The scene I'm talking about.
Yes.
Steps closer to him until their bodies touch, and out of the corner of her eye, she spots their reflection in a fitting room mirror. And so she sees how perfect they look together. He's way more put together than I am. His clothes are newer, more expensive. I look cute, but still a little hood, a little less polished. He watches us too, and he slips his arm around my waist while still looking at us. I lean into his chest. Oh, so
I love that scene. It's just the fact that, because she just kind of, proved herself wrong. It was kind of like they were standing and she noticed them, how, yes, they were different. They, they came from two different backgrounds. And he said was like, I can't change the way I grew up. Like, you shouldn't hold it against me because of how I was raised. And so she's standing and she's looking at the mirror and she's noticing that there are differences, but she still called them perfect. And I'm like, you're growing. That's character development right there. Character development. I just thought that scene was so cute. Like, she noticed right away that they were different, but she still called them perfect together. And I'm like, yes.
I know. That's why I just love that scene. It was one of those moments where you're going, oh, this is so well written, and it's just perfectly implemented, and it just resonated with me as the reader. I love the way she's going, yeah, I look a little less polished, but it still works. And I kind of love that he knows what she's doing, and he embraces her. He pulls her a little closer, going, yeah, we do look good together. And it's one of those
perfect. I just can't. He's so cute. He knows exactly what she's thinking and pulls her closer and whispers perfect to her. And I'm like, My heart.
I know, he read that situation so beautifully. Oh, I really appreciate that. And the same thing when he's like holding her hand throughout the entire date, the little details I appreciated. Just throwing that out there.
That was a good scene. That's a good one.
I was going, that was, and you said final thoughts, I'm going, wait a second, I need to mention this one, red flag this one, because it was just, my heart. That was one of my favorite scenes in the entire book. I just really appreciated that.
That's a good final thought because that was amazing. I love that scene too.
Yes, no, put that back there.
I know we have it.
I'm trying to angle it on the pillow so that it's in shot. And it's also,
I see it.
It's also not, tipping over, and it's not I want everything to be equal on the same level.
I can see it. We're good. Anybody else have any final thoughts, opinions, questions? And what I just realized is that I did not pick books for next month.
Here I am. I'm getting ready to tell you mine. Well, actually, okay. So we talked about this last time, and you can probably, I already know what one of yours is going to be. So we talked about this last time for January, starting off with either a reread. So I was making Archer as my first choice, Archer's Voice, because we were talking about going back and having all the feelings, because this was both our favorite book. This was my favorite book. I'm pretty sure this is yours for 2018. I love this so much. We were talking about doing a reread, so this is going to be my first choice. And then we had also talked about second chances for our books that we'd already kind of put out there for voting that didn't win. So I chose Wait for It by Mariana Zapata as my second choice, as my resurrected, excuse me, my resurrected voting. And I know there's a certain Lisa Kleypas book with, I think it's called Stranger in My Arms, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be your choice.
Yeah, because I think that has been on the voting deck like twice, and it did not win. So it's going to be like third chances. But yes, I have it. I have that book somewhere.
Well, we've been talking about like a round of voting for second chances for books that we put out there that didn't win, but we were hoping we were going to win. And so I was going to put out Mariana Zapata's Wait for It. And then we talked about doing a reread for Archer. So these are my two picks for our January live stream.
Yes. And I see the Lisa Kleypas book. I just can't reach it. It's so far.
I knew that was going to be your pick, so I didn't have to make it mine. I knew.
Yes. That's my one pick.
You can have a sec. I mean, you can do your second one if you need to go look at your browse your bookshelves. I don't know if there was a second one. This had to be read at some point in time.
I know that I automatically think of Sandra Brown because she's my favorite. And I know we haven't had like a suspense like romance read. So I was thinking Chill Factor by Sandra Brown. That is my absolute favorite Sandra Brown book. And really, I think everybody should read it. And it's a suspense romance. And we've never had one of those. So I just thought maybe, yes.
Hey, I am down for it. I will read whatever is voted on. I mean, I also know you love her. When I went to Barnes & Noble and I saw her, I had to DM and be like, look who I found with a giant heart around the name. I'm going, look who's here.
Yes, I'm like, yes, Sandra Brown.
So I'm not surprised that it's your second choice. I know how you feel about her. I was going to try and get you a signed copy, but I couldn't find a signed copy from her. I was going to get but that never panned out. I was trying. I really tried.
That would be like the best day of my life. I would love I don't have any signed anything from Sandra Brown. Natalie, hi! At YouTube to randomly give me alert for this stream just now. Well, welcome!
You read Pride? Do you have any thoughts about it?
Yeah, we read this beauty. Did you read it? We read this beauty, Pride and Prejudice adaptation.
And then I think we originally were going to do the third Tuesday, do a holiday read, but because it's going to be during, the holiday season, I think we decided we weren't going to do that. So well, Natalie, it's time to type. So next week we do have Who Picked This Movie Night, and there was an executive decision made. If you'd like
what I can't even remember. Hold on, let me go on Twitter because
Christmas.
No, I know which one that I want to change it to, but I don't know which one actually won.
Christmas Prince. The Christmas Prince won, but now we're watching The Spirit of Christmas.
Now we're watching The Spirit of Christmas because, yes, I was talking with Miss Angela here during our last live stream, and a lot of people in the comments were saying that they really loved The Spirit of Christmas. And so A Christmas Prince won the voting, but I decided to make an executive decision and overrule that. And we are watching The Spirit of Christmas for our Who Picked This Movie night next week, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Tweet along using the hashtag Who Picked This Movie and at Pick This Movie. Is that right? Yep. So yeah, and it's on Netflix. Awesome. If you have Netflix, watch with us, tweet along. It's going to be great.
What's going on? I can't read because of the progressives. I don't know.
No problem. Talking romance, I had my story I was working on months ago during another stream published. Go look for a book called Rags to Riches, Cinderella Love Stories. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations. Rags to Riches, Cinderella Love Stories. Okay. Got to write that down because I have a terrible memory.
Oh my goodness. As I was pulling up, because I wanted to, oh, this is cool. I might be doing a giveaway because Jill Shalvis just offered to do a giveaway for me.
Shut the front door. What?
I had my notes because I wanted to say we're not doing the holiday live stream, but I did just want to say, like, these were 3 books that, you know, this holiday season I had on my list, and I had shouted it out on my Insta, and Jill Shalvis was like, if you want to do a digital giveaway of Hot Winter Nights, she's happy to provide the prize. So this might be happening. This just happened live in the moment. The beauty of live streams.
That is awesome. That's fantastic. So
anyway,
proud.
congratulations on getting published. Congratulations on getting published. Your very first romance story. You know, she's clapping.
Round of applause. Round of applause. Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. Good for you.
Yeah, that's great. I wrote it down, so I'm gonna go check it out.
Yeah. Now that I'm not as distracted, I'm like, I got distracted there. I had one of those, like, you know, the movie Up with the dog. He's like, squirrel. That's what I just to you. I didn't mean to.
Oh, yes, that's so funny. April's like, OMG. Yes, right? OMG.
Yeah, because we so because it's gonna fall during the holiday season, you know, I just wanted to, you know, quick thought about recommending some Christmas reads. You're doing a buddy read for Jill Shalvis, Hot Winter Nights, which apparently I can now do a digital giveaway of. So we will figure that out at a later date. So stay tuned for Instagram and Twitter updates. So Hot Winter Nights, Jill Shalvis. Another one, I just kind of love the title, A Billionaire Wolf for Christmas. You kind of can't beat that.
I'm writing that down. A Billionaire Wolf for Christmas.
A Billionaire Wolf for Christmas by Terry Spear. And then The Duke, How the Dukes Stole Christmas. I mean, I bought this the day this came out, and so I've been wanting to read this. I just haven't had the chance yet. And then the Until Midnight Paranormal Romance box. 20% off your first box, which I thought was super cool. The founder let me. She messaged me today and mentioned that. I'm going, hey, I will mention that if you want a paranormal romance Christmas read. Until Midnight is a box for you to look into. So we have the Paranormal Romance box with your 20% off. If you go to Until Midnight, make sure you let me know you get your 20% off. And then I just want to reference these 3 books. So
that's awesome. Natalie's saying my story in the book and anthology is called Chase the Dream. Okay. Chase the Dream. I gotta write it down.
We gotta go add that book to the Goodreads to be read.
Yes, to be read. Lady Gizmo is congratulating you. That's awesome. Such a great accomplishment.
If you have the link to that, you know, whether it's Amazon or Goodreads, I'll share it over on the Twitter. If you have, make sure DM, tweet at, I will retweet. I will make that happen. We're supporting our fellow romance readers and writers. That is happening. I want to support this because that is amazing. So if you want to tweet at, I will make that happen.
And I retweet and share everything that Angela tweets. So
I'm very active when it comes to social media.
I love it. I tell you, I say all the time, you're the social media queen. Bow down to the queen. And I'm really excited to read some Christmassy stuff too. I'm reading, right now I'm reading Winter's Tale because that's the largest book on my 12 Days of Cosmos TBR. I'm just like, why am I doing this to myself? Why?
I am the hostess again tomorrow for Cosmos. I did yesterday, and I tried to repost everyone's pictures over on the Instagram, give shout outs of mine. I tried my best to be very engaged. So hopefully, tomorrow I will also have that same gusto, and we will, have some readers for Cozness. So hopefully that goes well.
One that I'm really looking forward to that I'm reading is A Mountain Man for Christmas by Deja Voss. And someone else I saw a picture of it on Instagram. I was like, I'm reading that too. It just looks super cute.
And I just want to type in, because it's C-O-Z, Cozness. I keep wanting to say Cosmos, but it's Cozness. I just wanted to be like, FYI, we're saying Cozness.
We're saying Cozness.
Oh, you got some books, Christmas books? Yes. Oh, see, as the dog makes noise, it would have been awesome to do a live stream talking about the holiday reads. So we're going to have to keep up to date with Twitter and Instagram. That is going to have to happen.
Yes.
That is going to be the case. That is happening. As my dog tries to.
What day does that third Tuesday actually fall on? The 18th. The 18th.
Hi, puppy.
Whoa.
Oh,
growling. You growling at your mommy? You got to be nice.
Yeah, he's cute, but he's,
he's cute, but.
You found a Twitter thread with Hanukkah romance recommendations. That is, I saw that Hallmark was going to have their first Hanukkah movies next year. So I want more recommendations. I think that's amazing. I want more.
Charlotte, if you could tag us in that thread, if you can find it on Twitter, I would love you forever.
I was going to say, I will share that multiple times over.
Multiple. Yeah, just tag Romantics at Hart or Writer A Hart or Who Picked This Book. Or, all of us. We'll get it.
We will spread.
My dogs are barking.
We're going to be tweeting about Natalie's book. We're going to tweet about, we just do all the tweeting.
Do all the tweets and retweets. That's awesome. And my dogs are barking, so sorry.
Well, now this little guy is settling down. Now he has his bones. So hopefully he'll be, he won't be digging and moving stuff. I saw I had something on the floor and you could just see it progressively moving forward. I'm going, oh good. I'm just watching this move. And I can't see him. I'm just watching it move.
That's so cute.
Oh, he's adorable. He's a handful.
Natalie just sent you a DM on Twitter.
Thank you. I will do as soon as when we're done, I'll tweet. I'll be tweeting.
And I will retweet. Tweet and retweet.
So we have our books. We're going to be doing movie night next week. Brief not historical holiday. I had the H right. Historical holiday. Briefly mention some holiday reads. Was there anything else on the discussion list that we wanted to touch on? Yes, no, tweet. I was going to see talking about Twitter. I'm like, go tweet away, comment away. Getting all messed up now. I have this is herbal tea. I probably need caffeine in here.
You're doing good. Yeah, if there's any last minute stuff you guys want to talk about, please comment. We will wait for the comments to catch up. But yeah, that's really, I'm reading Winter's Tale, Mountain Man for Christmas, On a Snowy Night by Debbie Maycomer. I'm going to be reading that this month. I love Debbie Maycomer. I can't even talk. Sorry. Oh, I need caffeine too, apparently. And I'm reading one more. The Vet's Christmas Pet by J.L. something. I'm surprised I remember that much.
How do you feel about the Goodreads Awards results?
Oh!
How do you feel? I know the Kiss Quotient won for romance, and then Colleen Hoover came in second, and then I think my pick came in like fourth or fifth, the one I voted for. I can't remember off the top of my head. Can't remember.
I'm not saying the winners. I'm just going to bring it up right now because I'll need to know the things. View the results. And I only voted like the first round, and then every time I was still like, oh, I need to vote, and then I never did, and I felt so terrible.
And I know
Let's go to romance.
I know Sarah J. Maas has another win under her belt. She's always wins. Like, that's a guarantee at this point. Just if she's nominated for something, just assume she's gonna win.
She's gonna win. I think for the romance one, I voted for.
And I'm gonna look up the other one.
Oh, I voted for Hello Stranger by Lisa Kleypas.
I was gonna say the one I wanted, I know didn't win. I know that much.
Yeah. And then I also wanted to vote for The Thief by J.R. Ward, but I didn't because that wasn't my favorite Black Dagger Brotherhood book, but it was, you know, J.R. Ward. And then I don't think I had read A Princess in Theory yet, so I didn't vote for that one.
That was the
That's
one
what you voted for?
That was mine.
I did read it, but I didn't read it when I was voting then, so I didn't vote for it. And then I don't think I read anything else. I read Darker, but I didn't vote for that. I need to read The Wedding Date, and I still haven't read The Kiss Quotient either, or the Colleen Hoover book. But yeah, that one won, and then where's the young adult?
Well, I know The Hate You Give won like the best of the best, which is kind of epic. I was kind of happy about that because that's an amazing book. If you haven't read it yet, just FYI. There's a reason it's the best of the best.
There is a reason. Yeah, so for young adult fantasy, Kingdom of Ash did win, and I did not vote for that because I haven't read it yet.
I'm trying to follow everything going on with the comments. So Colleen Hoover writes she can get pretty dark pretty quickly. So I always feel like you kind of have to be in the right headspace for picking up her books. Just little warning, just a little notation to give you a little heads up. There's a couple darker elements running through that. So if you're not, you got to be prepared. Just be in the right headspace because there's a little bit of a darker for all your perfects. I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying like there's just be aware of that. Be aware. And then Penny Reed is awesome, but you voted for The Kiss Quotient. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm trying to think how to say this in the nicest way. I'm not surprised that one won because I feel as if it got the most publicity, and I honestly think that's part of the. I mean, there was a lot of press surrounding that book. When the New York Times article came out talking about Romancelandia, that was the book featured. There was this giant profile picture of the author. That book received a lot of coverage. So I think that was part of the reason why it won, because probably most people read that book. So I think that's a big thing with Goodreads too. They choose books that are very close to, people probably haven't enough time to read everything in the category. I'm sure out of people read that one the most. I mean, it's a good book. It was just one of those, I think that one had the best chance of winning aside from The Wedding Date by those are the two I knew were going to win. But at the same time, it was like, I really liked A Princess in Theory. I love I love her. I met her at RWA. Alyssa Cole was just such a sweetheart. I wanted her to win just because I just love her. I wanted her to win because she's so sweet.
I read that one and I really liked it, but you're absolutely right because there was a lot of hype surrounding Kiss Quotient and The Wedding Date, even just around BookTube. And it's surprising because BookTube is not predominantly romance, it's mostly YA. So when they talk about other things other than YA, I tend to like sit up and listen. So those were the two books that were mostly talked about. But Charlotte's saying that she was not prepared. I'm reading the third texting book from Tegan Hunter as a palate cleanser, so I don't end up a crying mess while I read ABP. I did like A Princess in Theory. I did too. I really did enjoy it. And when the voting round was going on, I hadn't read it yet, so I didn't feel right voting for it if I didn't read it. So, but when I did read it, I did like it.
I mean, I love Goodreads. I love that they put the spotlight on books, but I do think they have a lot of books for people to choose from. People haven't read all of the books. It's just a very difficult kind of voting situation to be in because they have all these books that you want to read and you know the authors' names, but it's one of those, I can't vote for you because I didn't read you, but I read you and I liked you. It's just it can be kind of a problematic situation.
Right.
And I think one of the Sarah J. Maas books, I know she won because again, like it's Sarah J. Maas, and she has her fandom. One of her books just come out when it got nominated, so that was. I noticed that.
I did too. I really thought, I knew Sarah J. Maas was going to win, but again, I didn't read that book, so I didn't vote for it. I think I ended up voting for I either voted for Obsidio or Thunderhead because those were the two books that I read.
So for young adult or for
young adult fantasy?
Okay, where did it go? I have it open. I will find it. I think one of my picks won, but I forget which category. It might have been the best of the best with The Hate You Give. That might have been mine, but I don't remember. I'm trying to find it. Humor, I don't. Oh, where'd it go? Of course. Of course. As soon as I got to talk about this. Oh, Lay Off Beat one. I think I liked that book. I liked that one a lot. I didn't really read too many young adult ones. The only one I think I read was Love, Life, and the List. I think Cassie West is a goddess. I love her. And then I haven't read it yet, but this Save the Date, Morgan Matson. And I also love Maureen Johnson. I love her so much. I haven't read that book yet, though, the one that was nominated. I read another one. And yeah, I didn't read that many for the young adult fantasy one. The only one I think I read was Stephanie Garber's Legendary. And then I have the Hazelwood, but I haven't read it yet. So I was more focused on my romance winners.
Me too. Yeah.
Same thing with The Cruel Prince. I haven't read it. Children of Blood and Bone, I never bought, and now I won't for reasons.
Oh, for reasons.
For reasons. If Nora Roberts is my queen, I bow down to her. I follow Nora Roberts. So.
Oh yeah, that whole
That happened.
Yeah, that happened. Charlotte says, I couldn't vote for any I hadn't read. I like the ability to write in nominations. Yeah, I did too. I like that. But it can take a large social media movement to make headway in that way.
I know, I always forget her real name. Paper Fury, her book, 1,000 Perfect Notes. I know she did a write-in for hers and was trying to get some traction. It's hard, though. I mean, that's the thing. Goodreads gives you, it's very hard to have write-ins win.
Yeah.
And then Natalie, she published another one, so congratulations. You are very prolific.
Called Hidden, which is a contemporary fiction. I just wanted to mention Hidden. Gotta write it down. Hidden. Got it.
I lost the dog.
We lost Max. My dogs are scuffling outside the room that I'm sitting at, and I'm like, what are you getting into?
So, yes, did anyone have any other thoughts about the Goodreads winners voting? Anything you wanted to mention?
Anything you want to say? Anything.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if there's any other votes I took part in. I'm trying to remember the best was. Well, I'm trying to think if I voted for the Hate You Give. I was just glad.
That one.
I think Eleanor and Park that one was nominated. I might have voted for that one. I just noticed that because I love that book, Eleanor and Park. A heart. Although I have to admit, I was surprised like some of the classics weren't nominated for the best of the best.
The best of the best, yeah. I need to look at that one because I'm not sure which one I should have wrote everything down. I have a terrible memory, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm like, what did I vote for? I have no clue. These books. Few results. I think I only voted for. I really go for like the fantasy, romance, science fiction, and YA. Those are really the categories that I go for. Best of the best. Let's see. I think I ended up voting for. I'm so sad. Huh?
Max came back. At least we know when the dog is here.
Yay, Max!
I was genuinely getting concerned. Is there anything else? Alona Andrews. Yes, she's very talented. She's a very good writer. Alona Andrews. You guys haven't read her, you should. If you haven't read her yet.
I need to read more of her. I need to. I see her everywhere. Iron and Magic. I'm writing it down. Iron and Magic. I know there's a very well-known series by her that I can't think of the name for.
So is there anything else you guys wanted us to touch on, answer questions about? I mean, so we have movie night, then we're taking the rest of the month off because holidays, and then we'll be back in January with a read that I am posting the poll for at as we speak.
If you haven't read the Kate Daniels series, that's the series. Kate Daniels. You should read that first. Okay, I will. Kate Daniels. Here we go. I will read it ASAP. I'm actually trying to finish the Side Changeling series by Nalini Singh. I think I have like 5 more books to go.
So I know it is Sandra Brown. What was the one you wanted it to be for your choice?
Chill Factor.
Chill Factor.
Chill Factor.
And I'm gonna guess chill factor is 2 words.
Yes.
Just wanted to double check. I was like, I know grammatically speaking there too, but sometimes writers get funky with their words, so sure.
Okay. Yeah, it's 2 words.
Well, I knew grammatically. I knew it was supposed to be 2.
I know grammatically it's correct. Chill Factor. Yeah, that book is amazing. I love it so much.
So that poll is officially live, and hopefully you can go vote, and then I will go find the links for the books to include under that. And if you haven't read, and you already talked about that, as I'm trying to read the comments with my progressives, they're like the bifocals where you have the 2 different lenses, so I always have to do my little head nod.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else that we wanted to discuss, thank you so much for joining us. This was really fun. I really loved that the Ripped Bodice put this all together, the Great Big Romance Read. I really hope they do it again next year or very soon, because when I was reading their posts and their emails, I was getting the impression it was going to be like an annual thing, because they keep saying like first annual or something. So I really hope, because this was fun.
I mean, they do a really great job at promoting romance. So I think it was really nice that people were able to participate across platforms, across locations. We're doing YouTube live streams. There was a Goodreads group. People are doing their in real life book clubs. People are, just randomly joining in and focusing on Twitter. I just think it's so great that they're promoting romance, and I'm so happy that we get to be a part of that. Promoting romance is what we do.
Absolutely. If it's anything about promoting romance, I love it.
We are there for it.
We are here for it. I will die on this hill. Lady Gizmo, good night. And you have a wonderful holiday as well. Stay safe if you're traveling, because I know holidays can get crazy. April, thank you so much. I love you, girl. I hope you have a wonderful night. I know you're closing down work soon.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you guys who read the book. If you didn't, thank you still for joining and hanging out. I mean, it's so much fun to talk about romance with everyone. Just thank you so much for joining us. You guys really are the best. Yeah, you see Max Growl is right on cue. Yes, you guys are. I agree.
Seriously, best way to spend a Tuesday. That will go on a shirt eventually. I promise.
We're always sipping our teas with our mugs or something. We're going to have to do something. It's going to have to happen eventually.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Thank you so much, everyone. You have a wonderful night. Mwah.
Bye, everybody. And thank you so much for joining us. And hopefully you will tweet along with us next week for Who Picked This Movie Night. So hopefully we will see you then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.